Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. As you see by the title and by the thumbnail, today we're going to be breaking down some film on TJ Watt. So the very first play, man, you see him being active with his hands. So he actually did a combination rush. And what I mean by that is that he was able to utilize his movements also with hand placement, being able to, get the offensive lineman hands off of him. So he kind of hit him with like what you would call in basketball a Euro step, where you would kind of go fake one way and then come the other way. And he kind of caught the offensive lineman off guard, because like he faked like he was going to be going from the outside. So the offensive lineman hopped outside and he just went back in, and then he was able to swim and rip underneath and be able to make a tackle on running back in the backfield. So in this play right here, I know to the naked eye, they kind of can be looking at it and saying like, okay, he didn't really do nothing special on this play besides recover a fumble, which that's all he did. But that just shows you the eye discipline for him to be able to even recognize that the ball had been fumbled. But then just look at, you have three jerseys right there. You got the tight end, you got the quarterback, and you got the running back. And for him to be able to beat all three of them to the position and be able to recover that fumble, to me, that's what stands out, is the effort, the high motor, for one, to awareness, to be aware that the ball is on the ground, and then for two, to be able to beat three offensive players to the ball. That to me, that just kind of is an embodiment of, the way that he plays, high energy, high motor, foot on the gas all game long. So look at this play right here, man. Look at TJ Watt's get off. Like, look at this. Look at how in sync his get off is with that ball being snapped. Like, that's one of the biggest things that helps a defensive lineman, especially a pass rusher, is being able to anticipate the snap and being able to try to kind of get a jump on the offensive lineman. And that's exactly what he does. By the time the offensive lineman even gets up, it's almost like TJ's already halfway even around him, you know what I mean? And at that point, he had no way of blocking him. Now, granted, this is a 3rd and 5 situation. You're dealing with TJ Watt, and it's not a short, and you're not trying to pass the ball and get the ball out your hands quickly. And you leaving him in a one-on-one matchup with a offensive lineman. No help. More times than not, that end result is going to be exactly what this play right here was, and that was a sack. Plays like this also shows you why TJ Watt was paid the money that he was paid. So y'all know my favorite term is gotta have it moments, gotta have it situations. You're going to have that on offense and you're going to have that on defense. But for here, we have it on defense. You got a 3rd and 5. We need to try to get off the field and put our offense back on the field to try to put up points. So we need our guys, our playmakers, our top dogs. We need them to come up for us in those clutch situations. And that's exactly what TJ Watt does here, is he comes up for him. And also, too, the sack also, for one, gets the offense on the field. Defense off the field, offense on the field. But then, two, it even takes them the possibility of them completing the first down and even just being able to get a field goal. It even takes the possibility of that out. Now you get sacked in the backfield. For darn sure, it takes you out of field goal range. Now you have no choice but to punt the ball, and it prevents you from being able to have an opportunity to go for it on 4th down now. All right, so right here, man, one of the big keys to a defense is being able to create cause turnovers, right? Why? Because turnovers in drives, turnovers take the offense off the field, and turnovers gives your offense an opportunity to go on the field and put up points. So right here, that's exactly what they do. You got another guy to have a situation, a 3rd down, and it's a red area possession, right? So you get a strip sack. Now, I'm not quite sure if they recovered it or not, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that they did recover it. You get a strip sack, so now you take the possibility of any points from the Dallas Cowboys with making this play on 3rd down. Once again, man, you got another turnover. Now, one thing that I would say that I noticed, too, that TJ Watt is very good at, and I've seen him do that a few times, is being able to locate the ball and punching that sucker out. Now, granted, the thing is this, I've seen that Coach Belichick and Coach Patricia always talk about, causing turnovers. And it was like a lot of times when studying film, you can find when players have tendencies of, to kind of be loose with carrying the ball. So you kind of know that in certain situations, okay, let's say, for instance, if somebody has the tackle secured, or let's say if I'm coming from his peripheral vision, or he just can't see me, we have opportunities to draw that ball out by just, tugging at it, punching at it, or just trying to rip it out of there. And that's kind of what TJ Watt does right here. He kind of sees that, obviously, that he has help behind him, but in front of the running back, with the defense closing in on it, and he just does a good job at locating the ball and just getting a clean punch on that to draw that sucker out. Once again, you got another play where the ball handling was kind of a little on a sloppy end, and TJ Watt is able to call and force a turnover as well. He's able to punch that sucker up out of there. But see, these are the things that, like I said, you got to kind of pay attention to. I know a lot of times whenever it comes to paying guys big money, there be a lot of question marks. Okay, is he worth it? Does he deserve it? Yada, yada, yada. So you got to think about plays like this. So say, for instance, who knows? The defense done walk the length of the field. Well, the offense done walk the length of the field. They get into the red area, right? They're about to get ready to run the ball in on the red area to put up points on the defense. But you got your defensive stars. You got your guy to have it. Your go-to guys when a play needs to be made, like TJ Watt right here, who's able to create turnovers for you. Take the ball, take possessions away from the offense. Those are the reasons why guys like this get paid. He does another good job at, once again, kind of identifying the way that the ball carrier is carrying the ball. And like I said, some of that can go through film study and preparation to be aware of that. Okay, I think that I'm gonna have opportunities to be able to punch the ball free just based off of his tendencies to kind of carry the ball a little bit lower, opposed to having it high and tight where it makes it a little bit much harder for him. So he was able to identify that. Once again, put a punch in right there on the ball, draw the ball out of there, and take a possession away from the offense. So right here, you have TJ Watt lined up. So he's lined up a little bit wider than what we have seen from him so far. A lot of times defensive linemen would do that just to kind of try to out leverage the offensive lineman, which he was able to do. He was very good at the point of attack with his hands, being able to engage and knock down the offensive lineman's hands to get around him and try to get to Aaron Rodgers. He also showed that, good play recognition, just attention to detail, kind of knowing that, okay, Rodgers trying to get this ball out of his hands. Let me just put my hands up, jump up there and try to bat the ball down, which he did. So right here, we got another gotta have a situation. Now, I don't know why that any team would want to try to leave TJ Watt one-on-one, especially in a third and long situation like this one right here. And he just pretty much just, beats that. He uses more of a finesse approach this time, with just beating the offensive lineman, man, just being able to once again get physical at the point of attack with his hands, being able to use his arm. I think that was his inside arm to just swoop and kind of tilt and leverage the offensive lineman to be able to get back there to the quarterback and strip sack him. And not only did he strip sack him, but he was able to recover the strip sack as well. So like I said, once again, man, these are the plays that shows you why TJ Watt got paid the money that he got paid, because you get, for whenever we need these plays to be made, and those gotta have it situations like this one right here, he's able to not only get back there to the quarterback and get the sack, but also get the strip sack and get what we call hidden yardage in terms of field position off a turnover to put his offense on the field to put some points up. So on this play right here, I'm not quite sure exactly what was going on. I'm not quite sure if their ideology behind it was just saying, man, you know what? Since we're not confident that we can block him, we just going to, for one, run away from him, and we're going to pull and try to get our blockers out in front of people up front to try to create some yards off the ground. Right here, man, he just had a free hit at Derrick Henry. But, you look at the level of physicality, it's not a lot of guys, even though Derrick Henry didn't have his momentum going forward, he's still a pretty big guy. And there's not a lot of guys in the National Football League that can just kind of hit Derrick Henry like that and be able to take him down, especially in one-on-one tackle situations. Normally, more times than not, he's going to make the first person miss. Granted, a lot of those times he is coming downhill, but still it takes a man to be able to stand him up like that in a one-on-one situation. So in this play right here, this play does a good job at showcasing his effort and his for one, it showcases his dominance, being that you see that you had an offensive lineman obviously trying to block him, but then you still had your tight end to try to kind of help out with a little chip before he goes out for a route. So a lot of times, man, like I say, when you have a dominant defensive guys like TJ Watt, you're having to try to pull guys temporarily, if anything, out of options in the pass to be able to try to help support with blocking him. And they tried that on this play and it still didn't work. But just look at the high effort, you know what I mean, for him to have to try to get through the tight end and then get matched up on offensive lineman number 61, and then kind of in a sense run past Joe Burrow as Joe Burrow stepped up and was able to reposition himself and still come up and not only get the sack but get the strip sack as well. And once again, that's what we call hidden yardage, yards after plays like a turnover, or yards that you accumulate after a turnover, yards that you get on punt return, yards you get on kick return, and things like that, et cetera, is what we call hidden yardage. Being able to try to put your offense in a good position to where they don't have to try to, drive the length of the field to put up points. Once again, man, this play right here does a good job at showcasing his high motor, It looks like he was trying to rush from the outside. So I'm not quite sure if they were trying to run a stunt or what. I think that they might have kind of just did a good job in formulating a wall to try to slow him down. And he was just trying to reposition himself and get in a better position to be able to get back there on Burrow. But just look at right here, even when he thought that he wasn't going to have a chance to get back there on him, just seeing how he was jumping up to try to attempt to knock the ball down. If Joe Burrow would have threw it, eventually he ended up fighting through and ended up being able to get in on Joe Burrow and get a sack. But once again, it's almost similar to the play where I was talking about where he had recovered the fumble early on in the video, and I was just talking about how he was able to get there to the ball with 3 offensive players right there and was able to beat all 3 of them to the ball. And then I was talking about how much I love the effort and the high motor that he showcases. Once again, this is another play of that. So once again, man, we got another play that showcases TJ Watt's high energy, high motor. You look at this guy once again. We also have another third down, another got to have a situation. So like I always say, man, I'm gonna always stress the importance of got to have situations when I'm doing these film breakdowns. That way we can understand the importance of some of these guys, right? So you have another got to have a situation. The defense trying to get off the field, put the offense on the field to put up points, right? So Jalen Hurts, obviously, he's a mobile quarterback, and he was able to kind of maneuver, get up, and take off running. But T.J. Watt just kept hustling, didn't give up on the play you see right there. And then not only was he able to come and make the tackle, once again, what does he do? He's able to come in and punch the ball out. So now you create a turnover. So now it's a 3rd down. Now you get a stop, right? 4th down, they're finna get to punt the ball off. Now when they punt the ball off, you're looking at possibly being at the, like the 45 going on the 40. So when they punt the ball off, they're going to put it back downfield, right? So now you might have to work the length of the field. You might have to work 80. You might have to work more than that, or you might have to work a little bit less than that, just depending on where the punter is able to put the ball at. But if we're able to create a turnovers now, once again, we have this thing called hidden yardage and that's the yards after an interception. That's the yards after a fumble. So TJ Watt was able to come in, force the fumble. They were able to get that fumble recovered. So now look at where y'all at. Y'all at the 45, and now y'all already, in a sense, are in field goal position. So once again, man, we have another gotta have a situation. So first off, man, the Eagles are looking at a 3rd and 12. So obviously, 3rd and 12 is almost, especially in the National Football League, because the talent, the level of competition is so high that if you're finding yourself in 3rd and 12s, man, the chances of you converting them are not impossible, but they're very minimal. Now, I'm going to tell you what that also does. So when you find yourself in a 3rd and long, even if you are a run-first team, now you find yourself in a have-to-pass-it situation. So guess what? The defense knows that you have to pass it. So you become very one-dimensional in what you can do. So when you're dealing with elite pass rushers, such as TJ Watt, finding yourself in must-pass situations probably aren't the best idea. So once again, you get a good glimpse at his high effort, high energy. Once again, like I said, with the tight end had to try to engage and chip him a little bit to try to slow him down for the offensive lineman. That way that he doesn't have just a free one-on-one release on offensive lineman. He still comes up victorious on this again. And then also, like I always say, you have to think about it when you're keeping guys in the backfield, or even if you're using them temporarily as a blocker just to try to slow down a pass rusher. Those are potential options that you do not have in the pass game, and that's kind of what it was. So if the secondary is able to hold up, then it allows for the pass rush to be able to get up there, even if initially it wasn't effective. That's what they do a good job at right here. Jalen Hurts tried to scramble by himself some time. TJ Watt was able to catch him from his peripheral vision. He didn't even see it coming. And also it was close to being a strip sack as well. Somehow Jalen Hurts was able to hold on to the ball. But like I said, once again, man, it just showcases the importance of these situations, right? A 3rd and 12, got to have it. We need to try to put our offense on the field to put up points, and we need to be able to get off the field as a defense. And once again, when you need those situations to be made, you're going to go to your go-to guys. And in the Pittsburgh Steelers case, that is TJ Watt. All right, so we're going to end the video off right here with this play. Once again, man, you find yourselves in a gotta-have-it situation, a 3rd and 2. Like I always try to paint the picture for you guys. As a defense, we need to get off the field, and we need to put our offense on the field to be able to put up points. We would love to be able to create turnovers so we can get that hidden yardage and, make it a little bit easier for our offense to go down and put up points. So he kind of took a bad angle on this one. I'm not quite sure if he probably was trying to kind of avoid Travis Kelce, plus because he probably was anticipating that Kelsey Mike was going to chip him. But he kind of takes himself out to play in a sense right here. But once again, just having the wherewithal and the instincts to be able to know, or to just think like, okay, once I see the quarterback going back to throw, let me jump up and get my hands. And that's also one of the benefits of being 6'4" and having long arms, is that if I can't get back there, I always have the opportunity to possibly be able to deflect the pass at the line of scrimmage, just like this one right here. And it almost led to it being picked off by one of his teammates, but they didn't. But at the end of the day, you still get off of the field. And considering where Kansas City is at, they're not going to go for that because it's not the risk is not worth the reward. So now you put your offense on the field to be able to put some points up. So man, as a whole, man, like when I first seen that Pittsburgh had paid TJ that money, the first thing I was thinking, because I had never really watched him into detail, was like, oh man, that's too much, man. I don't think he was worthy, or he deserved that in a sense. And going back and breaking film down, man, I do believe he deserves it. And like I say, because when you have a guy like TJ Watt, he's what you call a game changer. Whenever it's time for plays to be made, he is that guy for you that comes in throughout the clutch. I mean, we've seen it throughout just breaking down film. We've seen the pass deflections. We've seen the forced fumbles. We've seen the sacks. We've seen the attention that he draws up. Like I say, when you're having to deal with a guy like that, you're having to keep your running back in the backfield to help you out. You're having to use your running back to chip before he goes out for a route. You have to use your tight end to chip before he goes out for a route. So using those guys as blockers in the backfield, it takes them completely out of pass options, and using those guys to chip, it temporarily takes them out of the pass option, because we know everything is based off of timing, and we do know that even especially in the National Football League, you don't have all day back there as a quarterback. And if you have another good player such as Hayward, like they have on the defensive line, interior line, being able to push forward and move the line of scrimmage there, man, it makes it very hard for a team to be able to get anything going, establish anything, because the line of scrimmage from that, the attention that TJ Watt demands is very it's very demanding, so it takes away a lot of what an offense can do. So to me, I do believe that, it was a worthy investment. Hopefully he can keep up this level of play, such as like his brother did for his whole career, and be able to consistently make these plays time in and time out whenever Pittsburgh needs them to. But that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're a Pittsburgh fan and you happy about this signing, man, smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that notification bell, where you be notified every time I upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video.